Yo, what you saying, bro? So basically, the Chicago Bulls right now been quite disappointing. No, not disappointing. They've been extremely disappointing this season. Possibly one of the most underwhelming teams this season. And to be honest, going into the start of the season, they were definitely a team that had a high ceiling, definitely a high ceiling, but right now it's just been a complete mess. They need to blow it up. That's really how it is right now. We'll get into why, but it's just a messy situation. A very unlucky situation for them as well. Chicago Bulls, before even getting good, after getting DeRozan, being first in the East for a while, having an MVP candidate, they were one of the most laughable and worst teams in the league, man. Like, if MJ didn't exist, bro, they'd be like the worst team in the NBA history, bro. Like, that's just how it, obviously, like Derrick Rose and that. But you know what I mean. 2 straight L's against the Knicks, who, to be fair, are on a 6-game winning streak. They look like they're figuring things out. But for the Bulls, for their standard, and the actual good players they have, this is absolutely disappointing. They need to blow up, or they're just going to be stuck being, mediocre, average, until the players leave or retire. 11-17 in the season, and 11th in the conference is, for a team with championship hopes, let's be real. Training camp, they're going to win they're wanting to win a championship. They have the players for it. Obviously, Lonzo's out, but that's not good in that. Like, that's terrible. Obviously, they've had some bad losses, against like the Knicks. Who else? The Hawks, the Magic, the Thunder, the Spurs, and like so much other bad teams. This is not what they're imagining so far. Obviously, if you ask Bull fans, they'll say the same thing. It's been absolutely pathetic performance after pathetic performance, for the whole team really, and even the coaching as well. Like, Bulls fans, I feel for you guys. I feel for you. I had to wear the red jacket just for yous. I feel that bad. Yous have been. Last season was really your season. Also, you lost the Bucks, avoided the sweep. DeMar had that MVP caliber season, which was, for me as a fan of the NBA, that was really fun to watch. But it's just been mediocrity ever since Derrick Rose left. It's just downhill, bad teams, memeable teams. Like, there was a point, 2017, 2020, or even 2019, Bulls were just laughable, and now it's just kind of just stuck. Also, the front office did say DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are untouchable, which obviously at this point is just stupid, but that is what's keeping them together. It's their potential. This team has a very high ceiling right now. Obviously, Lonzo balls out. He's not he's not. Obviously, Lonzo's going to come in there, definitely a better team, but it's not like, oh, okay, we're going to win the championship now. We're going to make the conference finals. Betting on if teams get injured. But despite them, having some bad performances and some bad losses, obviously, the Hawks game winner that they suffered after scoring one, it's just tough, especially against other teams. They've beaten some of the best teams in the NBA, man. They blew it, they literally blown it. I remember they blew out the Celtics. Pretty sure that was a comeback one as well. It was this team literally has what it takes to be the best, regular season wise, the best team in the league. 100%, man. But really what's stopping is just how inconsistent they are. That's really just, they'll beat the best team in the NBA, lose to the worst team in the NBA. It makes no sense. Obviously the perimeter shooting as well. They're not shooting very well. Zach LaVine's been inconsistent as well. Just bad defense, bad shooting. The spacing's not been, great. Obviously they've just had non-healthy lineups. Obviously their main players have been playing, but they have been missing some players. But, despite the losses, they are still, somewhat of a competitive team. Those 17 losses aren't just bad losses. Well, a lot of them are, but a lot of Bulls games are going down to, the last possession, the last minute, competitive games that are entertaining to watch. That's maybe what they're going for, sell some tickets, which is, it's quite low, to be honest. But, at least, their games have been competitive. It's just their execution in the fourth, clumsiness, bad decision-making from players, bad shooting, dumb shot taking. It's just really what's, letting them down. Obviously, despite how, some of the best teams they've beaten, they just are not one, they're not really a top 10 team in the NBA, really, when you think about it. There's a lot of teams better than them. Obviously, we kind of all know the Bulls aren't really going to win a championship, let's be honest. Obviously, there are some teams that, are not going to win the championship, but, if an injury happens, they can. Bulls are just not that team right now. And, that's the last thing you want. Obviously, no one wants to be stuck, in bang average, not good enough to make, a second round run or a conference finals run, but not bad enough to, get a good lottery pick. Obviously, yeah, the lottery, you could get lucky, but at this stage, they're just going to have, a bad draft pick who's going to be, an average NBA player. In 2K, his potential's 82. That's who they're going to be drafting every year at this point. So yeah, no one wants to be stuck in that. They may as well get the rebuild going as soon as possible so they can have, the sooner they start this rebuild, the quicker they'll get success. Obviously, with the Vucevic trade, they did give up a lot of draft capital and Wendell Carter Jr., who at this point is probably a better player than Vucevic, I would say. Like, if we're starting an NBA, a redraft, all the players right now, I've got to pick Wendell Carter and Vucevic are there. I'm picking a center, and those like some of the two best guys left. I'm picking Wendell Carter, bro. There's no way about it. Like, bad front office decision making, which the Bulls have a big history for. Obviously, they split up the MJ team after they won their 6th ring. Anyway, but that Vucevic trade, yeah, maybe it lured DeMar over there. I guess you did have to do it at that moment, but that's still one of the worst trades to happen in recent history. I'd say. Like, Vucevic, don't get me wrong, a good offensive player, but not a good defensive player. So I'd say, the players, you got to trade, the big three. Vucevic has got to go. I'm not, you can't have a center in the NBA who can't defend, man. Like, that's, like, if you're a center, that's, like, one thing you have to be good at is defending. Also, yeah, Vucevic is a good offensive player. I think he's got some, good stats that show how good he actually is on offense. Good mid-range scorer. But the defense is not there, man. You can see it as well, letting him down. Like, you play Joel Embiid in the playoffs, you play Giannis in the playoffs, you're fucked. Like, we saw it last season, you're literally fucked. Also, I'm not exactly sure who would trade for Vucevic. It's kind of hard, we're definitely going to see some trades soon. Especially next year, once January hits. But, maybe you trade him to Golden State, maybe Warriors make a panic move, maybe get, some, you get Moses Moody or Jonathan Kuminga, you get a good young player out of the Warriors, and maybe a draft pick for Vucevic. Boom, that's a good, a young player off the Warriors and maybe a draft pick. That's good for Vucevic, I would say. Depending on his value. Also, there's definitely other teams that are looking for him. Maybe even the Lakers can. We'll get into that Lakers trade with him and another player. DeMar, who's a good player. Some might say great. I would say a good player. His OG style, his mid-range does hurt him a lot. The Bulls, shoot some of the least threes in the whole league, which you kind of need to be shooting. You need to be in that at least top 20 of 3-point attempts if you want to be successful in this league. And it just DeMar's style just doesn't really fit this team. Obviously, he can have great games, have great stat lines. Obviously, DeMar's so clutch. Like, DeMar's one of the most clutch players in this league. But right now, I just do not think he fits this team. But I think really where it goes wrong is just his too much ISO ball, the mid-range, and his bad decision-making. But I think, if you trade DeMar, he can definitely fit on some other team where he's not exactly the main guy. I think he can flourish in that role. One trade package that came up, which, to be honest, I don't see the Bulls doing this, but, Vucevic and DeMar to the Lakers. You get Russell Westbrook back, 1 year rental, 6-month rental, if that. Boom, Westbrook's contract expires. And then now you've got, some cap space, maybe sign some young guys. I'm not sure what you can really do. I'm not a GM. But DeMar has to really go. Other trades you could do, I couldn't really think of any on the top of my head, but there's definitely some trades out there. Some team will definitely, the Kings, I don't even know if the Kings would really need him, but you have to explore your options for DeMar DeRozan. You have to get him traded. Zach LaVine, who signed a massive contract recently, he's having a complete down year. Still, you could say he is in his prime years, but to start this rebuild, you're going to have to trade him away. Also, he's just got poor defense, bad decision-making, bad shot-making, shot selection, His defense just doesn't look like he even tries, persuasion, his energy. It's not looking good for him. I think, yes, you keep Lonzo. Maybe he's a valuable vet for, your young guys, maybe. He's been through a lot in this league. It's just really hard to say. Obviously, you got Caruso as well. I would focus on really just trading the core away, getting some young guys back, a draft pick, some cap space that's free. Maybe you sign a young guy who's wanting to leave his drafted team. There's a lot of options they can do, but I'm not exactly confident. If I was a Bulls fan, I would not be confident in the front office making those decisions, to be honest. I feel like they would just make a bad trade. Obviously, to be honest, I don't think the Bulls, if they do accept their Westbrook trade, if you get the Lakers picks, they can definitely become valuable. Obviously, if AD's still there, he is playing AD looks like he'll be playing like an MVP level for the next few years, so maybe not, but they have to explore some options because there's 0 point in what they're doing right now. Bare minimum 500 team, make a play and lose the play and boom, come back. Let's try and win a championship this season. No, like last season was cool. Also, the injuries happened, kind of stopped them. Who knows what could have happened last year? But I mean, shit, nothing's impossible. The Celtics can come back like they did last year. The Bulls can't, but yeah, it's not looking very good for them. I can't lie, but shit, we'll see.